Hello guys, welcome to my channel. And do you remember the video about Akasa Air which I posted a few months ago? In that, I told that the Boeing 737 Max details you'll be studying in some other video. We will be covering the reason for the grounding of the Boeing 737 Max in some other video. And now your wait is over. The video is here right in front of you. So do enjoy while watching it. Thank you. So today's topic is the Boeing 737 Max, and as you can see, this will be the part one of our video in which we will be seeing the rise and the fall of this specific aircraft. So first of all, let us have a brief biography about it. Now, the Boeing 737 Max took its maiden flight on the 29th January of 2016, and it was certified by the FAA in 2017, and then it commenced services with Malindo Air. It is a airline which is based in Malaysia, and other airlines also began to purchase this 77 Max. Now, the fate of this aircraft started in October 2018 and in March 2019 when two fatal crashes occurred in the span of 6 months. And the consequence of both these crashes was that there was grounding of all Boeing 77 Max aircrafts for another 20 months. So, when the aircraft commenced its services in 2017, it saw a rise, then a fall. And after this grounding, the aircraft again started to fly again in phases. And so, in this video, we'll be studying only about the rise and the fall of the aircraft Boeing 77 Max. Now, why was this aircraft made? First of all, it must be a question in your minds only. Why was the aircraft made? What was the need of making this aircraft? So, on 25th September of 2014, what happened was that Airbus had launched its aircraft, the Airbus A320neo, and it was a variant of the Airbus A320 family. Now, the reason for this making of Airbus A320 was that the Airbus company had to promote passenger travel with great efficiency and less consumption of the fuel. So when there will be less fuel consumption rate, then it will be a somewhat profit for the airline. So this was the reason for the launch of this Airbus A320neo. Now we know that Boeing and Airbus are rival companies and they compete with each other in every field. So to compete with Airbus this time, Boeing had modified its Boeing 737 aircraft, and what they did was they modified its engine. So the engine had been given a new design and then it was placed a little bit front and upwards. Now, why wasn't placed at the exact position? Why a little bit front and upwards? We'll be discussing in the next slide. So let's move further. Now, an advantage and a problem for Boeing. Advantage, we know, just like Airbus, the new engine used less fuel consumption rate and had a great efficiency. So the interior design was also modified a little bit. But the problem was that the new engine was a bit large and was nearly touching the ground on installing it. So while landing, the engine could have struck the runway and it could have get damaged. To avoid this, the new engine was installed a bit forward and upwards. Now, this did not happen in the A320neo because the height of this aircraft is a little more than the, Boeing 737. So, this resulted in another problem for Boeing, that the plane began to pitch too high even at a low or medium speed. Now, even at low speed, the plane would have been pitched too high because of the position of the engine a little bit front and upwards. Now, the solution to this problem we can discuss further in the next slide now. Now, to overcome with the problem of the high pitch, what Boeing did that it installed the MCAS system. What was this? That it received signal from the angle of attack sensor of the aircraft. Now, you must be asking what is the function of AOA sensor. It just tells the pitch angle of the aircraft. For example, if the plane is pitching higher, then it will tell by how much angle the plane is pitching higher or lower. Or when it is pitching lower, the AOA sensor will tell how much angle by which the plane is pitching downwards. Now, the position for this MCAS system was the horizontal stabilizer of the plane. And the position of the horizontal stabilizer, you can see it in the photo which I've put. Okay. Now, when the AOA sensor detected that the plane was pitching too high, it would send the signals to the MCAS system. The MCAS system function is to lower the nose whenever it gets information from the AOA that there is a problem in the pitch. So then the plane becomes leveled when the MCAS system pushes it downwards. Now, there was another problem for Boeing when they installed MCAS. What was this? That the MCAS was installed on the Boeing 737 MAX planes to overcome the problem of the high pitch, but the AOA sensors, which gave the information of the high pitch towards the MCAS, they were faulty. Now, when they were faulty, they were providing wrong signals to the MCAS. So, the false signals, we can, for example, say that the when plane used to be at level altitude, that means it was neither pitching upwards nor pitching downwards, then the AOA sensors would detect that the plane is pitching upwards. Now, for example, if the plane is leveled like this, and the AOA sensor will send the information to MCAS, the plane is pitching upwards. Now, the MCAS in return will try to put the plane in a level position and it will put it downwards. This will happen in a system in which the MCAS is thinking. But in reality, what is happening? The plane is already leveled and the MCAS is just pushing downwards, so it will just pitch downwards and it will just go into nosedive. So there's a big problem for MCAS and AOA over here. And so this also resulted in 2 fatal crashes of Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, which killed 346 people. Now let us have a brief case study about both these two flights. So the first one we'll do is Lion Air flight JT610. What happened with this flight was that it crashed in the Java Sea 13 minutes after taking off from Jakarta on 29th October 2018. And its destination was Pangkal Pinang, being a domestic flight over here. The aircraft, as I told you, was a Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. And as I just explained the problem of the AOA sensor, the MCAS was again and again pushing the plane downwards towards in a downward position. So the plane was pitching downwards over here and went into a nosedive. The flight became difficult to control by the pilots, and there were many jerks also felt during the 13 minutes of the flight. When the plane crashed in the Java Sea, all the 189 people on board were killed, and then the investigation started. So on the next flight, we see Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302. What happened was the flight crashed near Bishoftu 6 minutes after taking off from Addis Ababa, that is the Ethiopian capital, on 10th March 2019. The destination was Nairobi in Kenya, and this flight was also operated by a Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Now, the flight also crashed in the same circumstances that the AOA sensor was giving wrong information to the MCAS. So MCAS was again pushing the plane into a downward pitch, and it then went to a nosedive and crashed into a open ground. So there were many jerks over here also, and 157, that means all of the people on board were killed. And then the investigation team now had a huge load on the heads of this investigation. Now, you must have seen many similarities between both of these flights of Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines. So we can just summarize these similarities over here. First one that I just told you, both the flights were using the same aircraft, the 737 MAX 8. Both flights crashed after a few minutes after takeoff. So Lion Air, it crashed after 13 minutes, and Ethiopian Airlines, it crashed after 6 minutes takeoff. The pilots asked the ATC for returning back to the origin airport. So in case of Lion Air, the pilots asked for returning to Jakarta. And in case of Ethiopian Airlines, the pilots asked for returning to Addis Ababa. Jerks were felt, and then both of the flights became difficult to control, and then they crashed and killed everyone on board. Now, it had a bad consequence on the Boeing 737 MAX reputation, and many airlines and customers became very afraid of using this aircraft for the flights. So the result was the grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX worldwide. On 11th March 2019, that's just one day after the crash of Ethiopian Airlines flight 302, China was the first country to ground all the 737 MAX aircrafts, and it was followed by Singapore, India, Turkey, etc. by all the countries. after many countries started grounding the aircraft, the FAA officially declared, I mean, it gave an official statement to ground all the 77 MAX aircrafts worldwide for a detailed investigation. This investigation was being done by the NTSB for both of these accidents, and then the reason came out with the malfunctioning AOA sensors, which I was again and again telling you, and they gave wrong information to the MCAS. And then this grounding continued for the next 20 months till December 2020. And December 2020 was the last month till when the official grounding was being continued. After 2020, the planes started to fly again in phases and the rise started to happen again. So the next rise about the Boeing 77 MAX, I would like to discuss in the next video. Till then, this is all for this video. Thank you everyone for watching it. And I just told that part 2 will be uploaded soon. So stay tuned to my channel and see you soon in the next video. Thank you.